After a year when so many things in life were put on hold, this May it's time to get back to the Brickyard. We'll take a look at how the Speedway served as a gathering place, even when race day as we know it changed. The new year sees new faces in the IndyCar lineup, but they are rookies only on the score sheet.
The nerves that come with racing is the thing that makes me feel alive.
And shattering the glass ceiling of racing, a new team with a new mission.
There's been a lot of talk lately about representation, and that is a very real thing.
We'll introduce you to the women leading the charge. A new chapter of Indy history is about to be written. The tradition continues tonight on WRTV Trackside. Here we are again at 16th Street and Georgetown Road to begin writing another chapter of racing history at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Brad Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. 1 year ago, the month of May came and went without a race here for the first time in 75 years. In the months that followed, that race would be run along with others. But this corner of our community has proven to be a lot more than just 2.5 miles of speed and endurance. Over the past year, IMS has meant so much to so many. When the city took pause to mourn the loss of a dedicated public servant, her colleagues gathered at the Speedway for one final salute.
Let her beautiful smile be a guiding light in the darkest of times, and never let her sacrifice be forgotten.
As Speedway High School's class of 2020 prepared for life's next big journeys, they were able to celebrate graduation on the Yard of Bricks.
The Yard of Bricks that each of you will be crossing today is both a start and a finish line. As you finish one chapter in your life, I want to challenge you to mark it also as the beginning of greater things yet to come.
And as the Hoosier State rolled up its sleeves to take on the COVID-19 pandemic, IMS became one of the state's largest vaccination sites.
Simplicity is greater than complexity when it comes to rolling out an operation as large as vaccinating 4.5 million eligible Hoosiers.
Making progress enough that fans will return here this month. The racing begins this weekend with the GMR Grand Prix. There are a handful of first-time drivers in the field, but calling them rookies seems like a bit of a stretch, particularly for the oldest of the bunch. Jimmie Johnson is no stranger to the Brickyard. He made 4 trips here to Victory Circle during his storied NASCAR career. But after all of those wins and all of those championships, something inside of him wanted to start all over. After 20 years of NASCAR success, Jimmie Johnson could have walked away from it all and been considered one of the best drivers in history. But there was still something more that he wanted.
But at the end of the day, this is for me. This is what I want to do. I want to be an IndyCar driver. I want to be out there with these guys duking it out. So for once in my career, I'm putting more of a selfish hat on. This is about my experience and me really testing myself.
It all started as a pretty casual conversation as Johnson's NASCAR career was winding down and he started taking a look at what might be next.
I think I was sitting outside of a Starbucks and he's like, hey, what do you think about IndyCar test? I was like, yeah, you should do it. It'd be kind of fun. You should do it with our team. It'd be great. You can work with Dario. And then that quickly led into, oh, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe I should do a whole, a season of it. And I'm like, okay.
I thought it was a prank. It's like, so he calls my phone and I answer, said, what's up, champ? And I call him 7 times. I said, oh, what's up, 7 times? It's like, hey, I have an idea. I said, okay. It's like, I'm going to go race IndyCars. And would you like to race the ovals for me because I don't want to race the ovals? I said, all right, what's the prank here? Where's the camera? I thought it was a prank, but no, he was serious. And then I talked to Chip. Chip said the same thing, and we made it happen.
And so now Johnson is a 45-year-old IndyCar rookie, sharing his familiar number 48 with Kanaan, a combined 50-plus years of racing experience between them. Behind the scenes on social media, that pair is having as much fun as a couple of kids ever could.
Looks like an Indy car, but that thing.
548 car, the American is leading with Tony Kanaan, the legend. He's going to win for the second time. He's going to drift the milk across the finish line. He's going to kiss the bricks. He wins! Seriously? Yeah!
What in the world are you doing?
Do you like my car?
On the track for Jimmie, a whole new set of sensations every time out.
The nerves that come with racing is the thing that makes me feel alive. You know, that accountability that I check in with every day makes me train, makes me study, makes, me try harder in the sim, puts me in the race car. All those moments that really comes from that anxiety or nerve that it takes to be a race car driver.
He's a damn hard worker. I'll tell you what, he set a new he set the bar at a new level for the amount of work a driver puts in. He has all the talent that you need, and certainly has the racecraft and the experience of knowing what to do, when to do it. I mean, it's no wonder I had no idea what I was up against when racing against him in NASCAR, and now I got a little feel for it. Yeah.
Johnson's first 2 IndyCar races proved to be a steep learning curve, a spin at Barber Motorsports Park, and a struggle to find good rhythm at St. Petersburg. But he made it all the way to the end in both. With the road course at IMS up next, there's more learning ahead.
I'm as ready as I can be. I'm not as ready as I want to be, but I'll show up and give it my all this weekend, and certainly going to enjoy this experience.
You got to give him huge credit. This is a huge thing to take on. You basically got to unlearn 25 years of what he's been doing and then start again as a rookie.
I'm trying to set realistic expectations for the fans watching. I know many of my hardcore fans expect me to hop in and be right at the front of the pack, but and I'd love for that to be the case, but I've got a long road to get there.
Johnson is racing only the road and street courses this season, but what about the Indy 500? Jimmie said earlier this year that his wife was finally warming up to that idea, so he's not ruling out an oval test in that number 48 car at some point, and perhaps making a go at the main event here in 2022.
Still to come, a fiery crash nearly ended one driver's life.
That I came back from hell.
But it opened a door to a new career in the IndyCar series. How brush with death led Romain Grosjean to a second life in racing. And later, the women of Paretta Autosport are ready to make some history at the Speedway.
People are looking at us not like every other race team, and I'm acutely aware of that.
Amanda Starrantino shows us how this groundbreaking team is setting a new pace when this WRTV Trackside special continues.
A look at some of the millions of dollars of improvements made inside the Speedway over the past 18 months. Fans will be back inside IMS starting this weekend for the Grand Prix. And by the time May 30th gets here for the Indy 500, a crowd of up to 135,000 will once again fill at least part of this place. Months of work to put together the right plan to keep everyone safe in here this May. Another rookie in this year's IndyCar field is a 10-year Formula One veteran who by all means shouldn't even be alive. But Romain Grosjean has gotten a second chance at life, a second chance at a racing career, and this weekend it brings him to Indianapolis. It's a story that's played out in racing so many times over the decades. In a split second, a driver's life changed forever.
And a big fire there as they exited out of turn 3.
Romain Grosjean's first lap crash at the Bahrain Grand Prix split the car in half. A fractured fuel cell turned into a massive fireball. An impact measured at 67 Gs left the front of the car wedged firmly in the barrier.
I knew I was burning, but it didn't matter. My foot was stuck in the pedals. I was pulling so hard that even if my ankle would have stayed there, not a big deal. I just wanted to come out, and that strength that you have in you, and also that calmness through the situation, show me how strong I can be.
28 seconds passed, feeling like an eternity. But miraculously amid the smoke, there was Grosjean escaping the flames. Up and out of the car and over the rail, able to free himself from what surely should have been a fiery demise. Time has passed and it's been analyzed as much as it has, and you've gotten a chance now to look at it from this visual. What have you learned?
That I came back from hell, but I had that strength as well. I never give up for 28 seconds. That is crazy that I'm alive. That when you see it as a racer from outside, your first thought is the drive is gone.
Nearly 6 months later, Grosjean still carries the scars from that horrific night, but his racing days were far from over. So the follow-up to that is, now you're in IndyCar. What the heck are you doing?
Having fun and doing what I like doing. You know, I've been doing Formula 1 for 10 years. It's been great. I've really enjoyed my experience and my career. But, you know, also the crash teach me to say no to it. It's done. I don't want to go racing and fight at the back of the grid. You know, I want to go somewhere where you stand a chance to fight with the others.
An opportunity with Dale Coyne Racing and NASCAR team owner Rick Ware's first foray into IndyCar. The stars aligning to bring the 10-year F1 veteran driver here to the States.
They really welcomed me nicely, warmly, and I really appreciate that.
A first test at Barber Motorsports Park in February. About the only thing the car having in common with his previous rides, they each have 4 wheels.
Running 10 years on a past steering wheel where everything is smooth and easy and not moving much, to going IndyCar where you fight it. But it's good. You feel the car. You really feel the car. It's not the same technology, but also I understand why the racing is so good.
Grosjean finished each of his first 2 IndyCar races. 10th place at Barber, 13th at St. Pete. The 35-year-old rookie knows he'll have to earn his stripes in the IndyCar paddock.
I really want to fight with them and give them as much of a hard time as I can, but you know, it's not because I come from Formula 1 I'm going to win straight away.
Grosjean will get one more Formula 1 drive later this summer. Mercedes has offered him a seat in world champion Lewis Hamilton's car to drive some demo laps after the French Grand Prix at the end of June. That is essentially a home race for Grosjean. One more chance to hear the cheers of his countrymen from inside the cockpit.
Before he was a 3-time Indy 500 champion, Helio Castroneves was a rookie with a dream, who put together one of the most memorable debuts in Speedway history. And up next,
it's a race for change in the motorsports industry, and one team vying for the Borg-Warner Trophy this year is putting its focus on female power. I'm taking you trackside to check out Paretta Autosport and the fuel they are using to drive the future of women forward, both on and off the track.
A key figure of Indy 500 history is getting the Hollywood treatment. A new movie is beginning production about the life of Janet Guthrie. Academy Award winner Hilary Swank has been tabbed to play the role of the groundbreaking driver. The script is based on the biography Speed Girl by author Stephen Tulty, telling Guthrie's life and racing career, including her historic 1977 debut in the Indy 500.
Last year's race was out of the ordinary in more ways than you may have realized. The 104th running of the Indy 500 was the first in 2 decades without a female driver. With a new push from IndyCar to bring more diversity to the paddock, I checked out one team that is tipping the scales on gender, both behind the wheel and off the track.
the green flag is waving for women in racing. Paretta Autosport is fresh to the IndyCar scene, but the muscle behind the name is well built and prepared to take on this challenge. The team's driving force, Beth Paretta, principal and CEO, is no stranger to the automotive and motorsports industries. Her unique career took Paretta from automotive dealerships to retail operations and luxury brand management, to leading successful finishes for Fiat Chrysler Automobiles racing programs in several series, including NASCAR. Well, it's all led to this point, an IndyCar team. But what makes this team so different?
Paretta Autosport is a female-forward team. We're probably going to be about 75% women on the team between the commercial side and the competition side.
Paretta is opening doors for women to tackle positions mostly held by men and setting them up to continue their careers, if they choose, even off the track.
If you look over my shoulder, that is STEM in action. Those are technical careers. Our aerodynamicist used to work for Boeing. And you could be an aerodynamicist here and then go work for Boeing. I mean, that's a real thing.
It's a concept that many women before Beth have strived to achieve in racing, something she keeps in mind while powering this idea to the forefront.
This has extra scrutiny. We have a lot of people watching us, and people are looking at us not like every other race team, and I'm acutely aware of that. And I feel that there's a responsibility that comes with that.
This concept of a female-forward team got a push forward from none other than Roger Penske.
The team is an extension of IndyCar and IMS's Race for Equality and Change, announced last summer. Team Penske is providing technical support to Paretta Autosport as they prepare for the greatest spectacle in racing.
Putting a group of women together on a team is far more impactful. You can see us working together. This is the only pro sport where men and women, where we can actually have co-ed teams, and that's really exciting.
In Paretta's number 16 car is Swiss driver Simona de Silvestro. She started in 5 Indy 500s and was named the 2010 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year. She says this ride is more than a seat on the track.
I think it's down to us to show that anything is possible, and that's what I've always fought for throughout my career. So I'm kind of glad that it's happening in my lifetime and that I'm part of it. I think women belong everywhere. You know, at the end of the day, I think it doesn't matter if you're male or female, but I think it's, you know, if you can get the job done, you should get this opportunity.
In its 105 years of running, only 9 women, Simona being one of them, have made it to the field of drivers on race day. Janet Guthrie became the first woman only 44 years ago in 1977. The Chevrolet-powered car is fueled by mostly women on Paretta's team.
What Beth has put together is really special. You know, the girls that are on the team right now, they're really learning from the best out there, you know, and I think this opportunity is pretty amazing. You know, even myself, this car feels really special to be driving it.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway feels right for the 32-year-old driver as the former Swiss Miss earned her new title right here.
How did you get the name of the Iron Maiden?
Yeah, actually here at this place at Indy, I had 2011, I was practicing and I had a suspension failure actually in turn 3 and had a pretty big crash with fire, and yeah, burned my hands pretty badly, and 2 days later I qualified the car for the Indy 500 and the fans kind of gave it to me.
Beth Paretta has attempted to get to this point here at the Indy 500 once, 5 years ago, with Grace Autosport. But the team pulled out at the last minute because they didn't feel quite ready to be fully competitive. Now, stronger and more prepared, she is back with her female-fueled team for another shot at the Borg Warner.
To get to this point, it just took a lot of years of determination, tenacity, a little stubbornness, and having great men in my corner that were always encouraging me, men and women, encouraging me not to give up and to you know, make another go at it.
But it's 2021.
Right.
Is this overdue?
It's way overdue. I mean, people wonder why we're talking about it at all, but realistically, women are 51% of the population. We're not a minority. Women belong in racing because it is challenging and rewarding and fun and grueling, and I mean, there are 33 cars on race day, and how great is it to be able to say that you are one of them, you know, and maybe one day you get a championship ring.
Reporting trackside at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I'm Amanda Starrantino for WRTV.
Coming up, one of the great careers in Indy 500 history started with a memorable finish 20 years ago. Looking back and looking ahead with Helio. And the track action is set to begin. We'll show you what's on tap for the days ahead when this Trackside special returns.
There are so many great traditions for the Indy 500 winner. Kissing the bricks, drinking the milk, and as of 20 years ago, a climb up the fence. We take you back to Helio's first in our Throwback Thursday. When he crossed the finish line for the very first time in 2001, he was really only known to many as the excitable young Brazilian racing Indy for the very first time.
Helio Castroneves has won the Indianapolis 500.
500 miles, 3 hours, you never know what's going to happen. But I knew if I beat 50 laps to go, if I'm leading, and then I'm going to start. In the beginning, I was just making sure that I find the lines where I was fast, and I tell you, I found my way really well.
Roger Penske took a chance on Helio Castroneves, and it added up to Team Penske's 11th Indy 500 win.
This is a great day in racing for me. You know, Indianapolis is the biggest race there is. We came here to win. We won. We think we played it low key, and saw what happened.
And once Helio climbed the fence, he went from Indy winner to a one-name Brickyard legend. It was just the start of an epic Indy 500 career that is still going strong. This year, Helio's back at Indy again, driving for Meyer Shank Racing.
I think it was the right opportunity. You know, we did discuss before with different teams. However, Mike was the guy that, you know what, let's make it happen. And I like that. I like the guy because that's what Roger always been, you know, very decisive, very ready to go and believe it.
This year, Helio shares the track with drivers even younger than he was, 24, that first time here at Indy.
And I can't wait to go out there, race with those guys, and hopefully, as I said it before, we can kick their butt and make sure that, hey, I'm still here and I still got it.
The action on the track begins Friday on the IMS road course. Practice in the morning and afternoon for the GMR Grand Prix. The day will be capped with knockout qualifying and the run for the pole position. That race will go green on Saturday afternoon. The first day of practice for the Indy 500 scheduled for Tuesday, May 18th. Qualifying next weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and we're now less than 3 weeks until race day on May 30th. It's starting to feel like May again, and it's great to be back at the Brickyard. We can't wait to see who will be next to etch their name in history. For all of us at WRTV, I'm Brad Brown. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.